watching the HS Tech channel.
Hello folks, welcome to the HS Tech Show. In this video we're going to take a look at Minecraft on a few old OSs. So first we're going to look at Windows NT 4.0, then we're going to take a look at OS2 4.52, and finally Solaris 10. Note that I'm using the Sun version of Solaris 10, not the Oracle version. The Sun version is 32-bit, the Oracle version is 64-bit. And I'm also not going to be running any clients on anything but Windows NT, because that's the only thing that LWJGO actually works on. And because these are virtual machines, that you can see from the title bar and the bar at the bottom with the device statuses, we're not going to have hardware accelerated video at all. There's no hardware rendering. This is all software rendering, because LWJGO actually supports that if you enable it. And in order to enable it, we're going to actually have to use a custom batch file to run the game. So you will obviously need to have acquired Minecraft and got your jar file, and you're also going to need your library dependencies. So the way I got these is just by installing beta 1.7.3 on MultiMC, taking the Minecraft.jar, here's that, here's the natives that it takes, and then here's, sorry, not natives, libraries that it takes, and here's the actual natives, as in the actual object files that's going to get your operating system to actually run the game. So in this case, we're on Windows, we got DLLs. If you're on Unix, you get shared objects. And then I've got the actual Minecraft directory here, which has all the sounds and whatnot, but I'm going to warn you, sound is not going to work at all, simply by virtue of the kernel not supporting certain features. Okay, so here's how you actually run the game. This right here overrides the location for your app data directory, which causes it to look here for your .minecraft folder and not in your user profile. And we're going to run this with 256 megs of RAM. We want the natives to be located in a folder called natives. Here's that right there. We do want it to use software rendering, and then we need to specify the long class path, which includes all these jar files, and then we want to run this class here, and then this right here is the player name. This is actually the first argument to the program. That's just what your player name is going to be. You can do whatever you want there. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit it and see what we get. So we get a warning about a bad image. Yes, in fact, it is not a valid program, because this is obviously for 64-bit Windows and we're on 32-bit Windows, so we won't be able to do that. This right here, get module handle exw, is not a system call that is in this particular version of Windows, so we'll have to deal with that. And we actually have running Minecraft. And I'm going to warn you, this right here is really pushing the limits of the Windows NT scheduler. As you can see, it is already not really responding to input. I'm trying to drag that up and it's not really doing anything. There we go. If we come over here and take a look at Task Manager, or at least try to, you see that the CPU is going to be pegged at 100% as long as we are focused on the game window, and about 75% if we're not. You can see over here it's trying to pull down the resources but failing, because, well, for one, those links don't really work anymore, and for two, this VM doesn't have access to the internet, just a local LAN. You can see we've already used up half of our RAM. So we can go ahead and create a world here and see what we get, and this is relatively not fast. This is about as good as it's going to get. Because this is a single processor system, it is kind of having to squeeze everything through one processor, but it works generally good enough. And here we are. It's not very fast, and there's always a problem with the mouse, but I mean, technically speaking, we're playing Minecraft. And I do apologize for the mouse. The mouse is actually completely inverted, because you can see that the mouse capture is not actually working. I'm not sure why this is the case, but this makes the game essentially unplayable to an extent. But I mean, we can try, but it's not going to work. Even that, there's a bunch of rendering errors that you can see over there. But I can go through the UI and get everything done. But you can see that we actually have several things going off here. All the file downloading is happening on a separate thread. But I can, in fact, get out of the game, or at least try to the best of my ability. And we'll go ahead and quit it, because now we're going to look at the next demonstration. That was just the bare minimum. Everyone knows that works. It's going to work regardless, because it's just software rendering. We can run a server on here as well, which is not too terribly difficult to do, but why don't we just run on OS2 instead? The superior server operating system, said no one ever. Alright, so here we are in OS2. This is version 4.52. Well, it reports it says 4.50, but it is in fact 4.52 Merlin Convenience Pack 2. Okay, so this is pretty much the same thing, but the Java installation on here is a lot trickier. if we do a Java-version, you'll see that we do have Java 1.6. Yeah, that's right, we can take it up to Minecraft 1.5.2 on here. But this is in fact a really bad port of OpenJDK. I really can't say it's bad because it's terrible. I'll be honest, it's a wonderful thing. But, I mean, it's Java on OS 2. It's just not going to work well in general. But it works for what we need to do, which is, in this case, run a Minecraft server. So let's go ahead and get that to going. We'll run it with 256 megs RAM initially. You're always going to get this, just return error code and keep on going. And it's going to quickly generate a map here, and the performance is actually not that bad. And you can actually see it is fully utilizing the CPU down here. If I want, we can actually run the full system monitor. If I can remember where that thing is. Oh dear. I actually have no clue where it's at. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Well, we're just about there. It's generating another map right now. So while we do that, we can go ahead and restart our client over here on NT. Again, disregard that warning unless you want to modify your kernel, which I'm not going to do for several reasons. I think resizing the window is probably not the best idea. Yeah, it redrew and I already clicked quit. Dang. Well, our server should have started up. No, not quite. Okay, when in doubt, okay. I was about to say, when in doubt, just kill the process. It's fine to do. Alright, so let's see what we have here. That actually did not take very long, but we need to figure out what our IP is. Oops. My bad. It's supposed to be using OS2 window, but the mouse is kind of ghosty. Or I should say the cursor has a lot of inertia. Alright, so we're on 192.168.1.82. So we'll come over here now that that's actually running and try it. If this would ever respond to input. And you can't push left or right here, so you just have to deal with the horrible text dialog that's extremely laggy. Now, I'm gonna warn you, it's gonna complain about bad auth sessions, and you'll see what that means. You do need to edit your server.properties to convince it to work. Because you can see it's going to hang forever on logging in, but it's never going to be able to log in because, well, for one, the Microsoft account transition completely hosed that. So we might as well come over here and realize that we can't do anything. So let's close this other here and then realize that we're still stuck. You can't actually run the server with players. So we'll have to manipulate here. Okay, so you can see there that that took too long to respond from another socket. So we'll stop this. And then we're going to edit our server.properties. So online mode equals false. Ugh. If you press the N key, it scrolls you down all the way. That's the curse of OS 2. And that should get us good. Yep. Okay. And then when we run it again, we'll actually be able to connect to it this time. I intentionally showed it not edited, and looks like we're going to need to make another edit here. There is a slight bug with this JRE. You do have to alternate the ports as you do this. Not too terribly sure why, but you do have to. I think it could actually be an issue with the OS2 TCP/IP stack. And you'll see here that it's running in offline/insecure mode. The server will make no attempt to authenticate usernames. Beware. Yes, I am in fact aware that is not how you're supposed to do it. Okay, well this is clearly crashed, so let's kill it. You can see it's idling the processor now. So let's find and kill Java. Rerun it. And hopefully we'll get... Oh great, I'm actually spawned underwater. And of course I can't see to do anything. Oh, wonderful. Truly, this is probably the worst Minecraft experience of all time. You gotta love it, it has just like hammering out a bunch of errors on the command line, because nothing's working right at all. And I will say that the control input is actually astoundingly laggy. Now, I make this seem bad, like this is basically unplayable, but that's not entirely true. The server is actually extremely performant, it's just that the client here is abhorrent. But we're going to do a performance test of the server in a moment. First, we have some more servers to run. So let's go ahead and get out of this. And we'll quit the game so we can idle our processor here. And we're going to go back to OS2. We're going to stop our server here. So we are technically done with this. And now we're going to go to Solaris. And this right here is just standard old Solaris 10. My typing's rather poor. This microphone's in the way. But we also have the right version of Java 1.5. And this should go a little bit faster, because this is not some sketchy port of Java that just so happens to work extremely well for running Minecraft servers on OS2. This is the real deal. So we're already generating the nether now. And once it's done, we'll stop it and we'll edit our server.properties file. So you have to run the server at least once to get a template file to edit. And we can just Control C it if we want. Okay, online mode. Yep, there it is. And then we'll plug it 0.0.0.0. Don't know how I made too many of those. Yes, you have to retype the entire command. Alright, so it's going to quickly restore the world that we did have, and then it needs to finish generating another. Which it is going rather slowly, so I'll pause this when it's be done. I'll unpause. Okay, there we go, just like that. So let's go and flip back over to our horrifying Windows NT Minecraft client here. Dismiss those errors. And this time we're looking at a different address. We're already starting to hang. Alright. Ooh, end of stream. Let's see what happened there. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, well, this is the problem that you'll run into, is it's not exactly going to work. I mean, you can try, but it will fail. And it will, in fact, fail. But let's take a look at trying it with an actual playable
So we'll kill that.
We'll switch over to a modern Minecraft client. Okay, well, it's the same version, but it's not running on a slow virtual machine from 30 years ago. And we can see what we get here. So we'll start with the OS2 server. And of course, this is going to be much more performant. Oh, yeah, I might need to restart it. Let me fire that off real quick here. And tell it to always ignore. I don't know why that is an issue. There isn't even a floppy drive B on here. And then we'll try that again. Completely forgot that I actually killed it. And I mean, this is fine. The world loads in and generates at a reasonable speed. I mean, for all intents and purposes, this could be as performant as any other beta 1.7 server. So if anyone wants to run an old Minecraft server, OS2 is the way to go, apparently. I will say that the OS overhead on OS2 is noticeably not there compared to some modern day thing like Windows Server 2019. OS2 is a lot simpler, but the setup is difficult, and getting OS2 to work in multiprocessor mode, don't even bother. It just flat out won't work. And let's troubleshoot that error here again. You're going to see it, we're still going to get that end of stream. You may be wondering, why is that? Why are we getting an end of stream? Well, that's a good question. There's actually a problem with the actual native socket library. Yes, that's right. I am showing this off to show a bug in Solaris. There is in fact an actual legitimate bug in most Solaris 10 distributions from 2006 that includes a broken Java runtime environment. If you want to fix it, you'll actually have to pretty much install your own JRE. and that can be had from the internet, so why don't we do that? So I'm going to quickly pause the recording here, and I'm going to roll in a more modern JRE so we can have something reasonable to compare this against. Okay, so I went ahead and installed that. In case you're wondering how to do it, just go download to JDK 1.6 from Oracle's website, copy it over, extract the compressed tar file, and then you need to do pkg add -d dot and then sunwj6 rtx, and that's all I do. It's just a standard System 5 release 4 package, and you see we now have this new version of Java. So we can see the user JDK instance. This keyboard is not easy to type on. I count this mic. However, you may notice the culprit. Wah. Yeah, that's not going to actually work. It's the wrong CPU, so you are in fact doomed from the start. So time to go track down a Java that is 32-bit. Alright, we're back, and this is the magic of reading. If I would have looked on their website, I would have seen that right above it is actually the 32-bit version of Java. So let us install that. So first you gotta uncompress it. And that's literally what the command is too, uncompress. Go ahead and do that, and that is the incompression algorithm, in case you're wondering, which is essentially primitive LCW compression. Now we'll extract it, and then we'll end up with a few things that we can install using package add. And yes, this is supposed to be fast, but who knows. This is on NVMe storage, just how non-performant Solaris is on the VM. Okay, here we go. So it's sunwj6rt, so package add -d dot sunwj6rt. And we do want to install this. It's just going to very verbosely list out all the files it deposits. I said I wouldn't show a Java installation, but it looks like I had to do it anyway. And then, once this script here is done executing, we should, in theory, be good to go. This is Java 1.6, not Java 1.5 that we were trying previously. This is, in fact, more likely to work. So I'm going to pause it while the post-install script runs here. And there we go. So now, when we if we go back to the directory we were supposed to be looking at previously, before realizing the failure, so we now have this version here. And we do in fact have this working perfectly. So we're going to set our path, so oh yeah. Oh, good grief. The magic of this ancient shell. Sorry, that is my phone going off. Yeah, very POSIX compliant indeed. Well, in theory we should be using the right version here, and we are. So we're gonna go back to where we were before. This is gonna be interesting. And it will work even though we have absolutely no ls command in our shell path. And now we'll switch back over to our modern day client here, and we'll reconnect, and we still get the end of stream. That's right, the rare double whammy. There is absolutely no hope for this. Not even installing a Java fixback or installing a newer JRE will fix that. Welcome to Sucklaris. This is why you use a different version of Unix like BSD. But while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at the NT install of Java. Alright, so again, the solution here is to install it on an older version. But this is the best that we can get right here. If I can figure out what drive I haven't installed on. Boom, there it is. Yeah, I do actually have a JRE 1.6 that maybe would have gotten us slightly further in the realm of supporting audio, but I opted not to. here it is right here. This is literally all you have to do, is just install it. The installer may actually work depending on what Service Pack fix level you have. Again, I have Service Pack 6A. If you don't have Service Pack 6A, you'll probably have to install it elsewhere. But if you just copy this over and then put this bin directory in your path here, for instance, I do echo %path%, you'll see that it is in fact there, right there, and it will just flat out work. I mean, it's not too terribly difficult. Let's take a look at OS2 while we're here. This right here is a similar usage setup here, except I have this on drive C, and it's right here. That's right. You don't even need to see that, it's just in the shell path. But this will get you most of what you need right here. If you follow the OpenJDK6 installation directions on the website where it's hosted, you will also see that you do need to install a certain dependency and have that in your lib path in your config.sys as well, but you need to make sure that bin is in %path% and the lib directory is in %lib%. And that must not be edited except by your config.sys. Yes, I actually don't have it here. You can kind of live without it. Remember, OS2 can double up. It will find libraries in your bin paths as well. In this case, that's what I've got going here. And you can see that we do in fact have this Java right at the start, so it checks there first, because this path here is actually invalid. But this will get you most of where you need to go, and it is a bit of a hacky solution, but it does work for at least somewhat getting a Minecraft server to run. The performance is going to be hit or miss. OS2 performs very well with full memory, but I hope you have a fast disk, because it will page really quickly. That's going to wrap it up for this installment of the HS Tech Show. In future videos, we may look at this same setup with the server running on other obscure systems as well, like MVS, and I may actually take another shot at Solaris. As a matter of fact, I have actually gotten it to work on Solaris 9. I'm not sure why, but it works on Solaris 9, but it doesn't work on Solaris 10. So we'll see you then.